Hi guys and welcome back to Car Focused. It's been a while, apologise, I've been taking a bit of time out just to try and kind of clear my head and see where I want to go with the channel. But it's a new year, fresh start, so we're going to kick off with a video, and this is in relation to the Mark II Focus RS. Now I've said to myself as a kind of a New Year's resolution kind of thing, or a winter resolution, that I want to use the RS more. I'm starting to think now, having it in the garage over the winter, it's a bit of a waste. Life is short, you never know what's around the corner. And ultimately, I want to get as much enjoyment out of the car as possible. Now, I'm not talking about taking it out and trashing it and, running it through all the salt and everything like that. Just basically using it as and when I want. So keeping it taxed during the winter. And then if it's a nice day, take it out and have a bit of fun. So in preparation for this, I have been out in the car a few times already, by the way. I've been out in there when it was really icy. Had a great time. I was loving the cold air. Yeah, brilliant. But anyway, in preparation for this winter usage, I want to get the underside cleaned and protected. So I've got a kit from Lanoguard, which is, it's a bit like wax oil. You clean the underside down, you apply this Lanoguard protection. It's like a spray liquid, like a waxy liquid. And that essentially protects all the subframes from the winter elements, so the road salt, all that kind of thing, and prevents the vehicle from rusting any further from underneath. Now, so to get this stuff on, I've got the car up on a set of ramps at the minute. I'm going to do the rear first, so I'm just going to snow foam the underside, get some degreasant on there, give it a scrub. I might get a rotary tool on there. I've got a drill with some brush bits, just give the chassis a bit of a clean. Get it all nice and clean first, rub down any loose rust that's under there, put it back in the garage, let it dry, and then I'll get it back out on the ramps and I'll apply the Lanoguard protection. Now, not only will it protect the subframes, it'll also make them look better, it'll darken them up, it'll cover up any sort of rust that's on there, and it should look pretty tidy underneath. I'll obviously do the front as well, so we'll do rear and front subframes, and then hopefully I can get the wheels off and do the arch liners. But today I'm mainly going to focus on getting the car cleaned underneath, getting it back in the garage, letting it dry, and then probably the next video, or maybe this video, it depends how I edit this video, I'll get the Lanoguard underneath and I'll show you some before and after clips. Anyway, enough of the intro. We'll get the car cleaned up underneath, we'll cut some clips in, and then we'll go from there. So a quick look at the underside of the car, starting at the rear. You can see the subframes. They're not the worst for a 13-year-old car, but there is a bit of visible rust there. There is also still a fair bit of original paint, which is a good thing, but they definitely need a good clean up, and they definitely need a bit of treating to stop that rust getting any worse. So next step is to give all this a rinse and a good scrub, and then go from there. Then once you've got your rinse done, I personally decided to give it a good snow foam, so just coated the whole underneath of the car, or the rear of the car, with some snow foam, getting in all the nooks and crannies, and then just leave it for a while to soak. So as you can see, a nice generous coating. Just leave it for 10 to 15 minutes just to work its magic, and then I decided to get a brush and give it a good scrub before rinsing off the underside of the car. So the next step, I decided to get some engine cleaner. I used Auto Glim engine cleaner and just spray all the nooks and crannies and the underside components. Just give it a bit of a secondary clean really, with a drill and some drill brush bits, just to get the more stubborn grime off. Just spraying the engine cleaner on it did loosen up quite a lot of the old kind of greasy dirt which had been on the car for quite a while, particularly on the floor pan. It did come up really well. This was the messiest part of the job, having to get right underneath. It was windy as well, so every time I was spraying the cleaner, it was blowing straight in my eyes. And then when I was cleaning the bits with the drill brush, everything was just spraying all over the place. And it wasn't the nicest job to do, but it had to be done. And we got there in the end. So you can just see here, just giving the subframes a bit of a scrub. And I did the whole car, and then I moved on to the next step. So underside has been cleaned, snow foamed, scrubbed, degreased. I haven't done a mega detailed job, but it's quite clean. Did the floor pan as well. So yeah, basically all you can see now is rust and paint. So the subframes aren't too rusty, but these are the areas that we're going to be treating with the Lanoguard. So yeah, just got to do the front end now. That's the back end done, and the sills and the floor pan. Now we're going to do the front end. Oh guys, you join me from my creeper board now. Rear's clean, front's clean, my face is filthy. Just need to let it dry now, and then get it back up on the ramps and get the Lanoguard on. So that's going to be another day. So I'll get this car in the garage, get it dried, and we'll cut to the Lanoguard application, and hopefully by that time I've had a shower. So I'll see you in a sec. Hi guys, we're back. It is tomorrow, the next day. I'm clean, I'm ready to go. The car's been in the garage overnight. It's nice and dry underneath, it's looking nice and clean as well. So we're ready for the next stage, which is the actual Lanoguard application. Now, I've got an instruction manual here. It just basically tells you what prep is needed. And I've got two, so basically I've got the spray here, the Lanoguard motor spray, and then I've got the grease. So the grease is for vulnerable areas like nuts and bolts, leaf springs, any big patches that have rust on. So basically you go over those areas first with this, using a brush. You have to put this in hot water, loosen it up a bit, then brush that on. And then we spray the whole underside with this spray here. Now, basically, what is it? What does it do? I'm going to quickly just touch upon this. It will displace oxygen and moisture, providing a hermetic seal on the surface, which stops the rust in its tracks and stops new rust forming. It will slowly seep under the rust and push off oxidation, or oxidation, should I say. It won't completely remove rust, but it will nourish and improve the surface over long term. So it's definitely going to help out. It's definitely going to make it look better, and it's well worth doing. You do it annually as well, and it also can be removed if you need to remove it. They actually provide a Lanoguard remover, which you can get from these guys, or you can steam clean it off, that kind of thing. Anyway, enough of that. I want to get this done sharpish, so I'm going to get the car back out, get it up on ramps, we'll get underneath again, and we'll get this job done. Right, so this is all ready to go. I've got my grease heating up in a container of hot water. I've got the motor spray all primed and ready to spray on. And I've just got an old detailing brush which I'm going to use to apply the grease. So before we get that, I'm going to quickly show you under the car now, just to show you exactly how clean it's looking. Right, so now it's all dry, you can actually see what's rust and what's paint. Now, the disc shields in there are really rusty. I've got new ones actually, so next time I get the rear discs done, I'll put those on. So I'm not going to focus too much on that. But the subframe here, as you can see, it's not too bad, but there's rust that needs treating. So where the seams are, I'll put the grease on, and I'll grease these nuts up here, and I'll spray the rest with the Lanoguard spray. But it's pretty clean underneath actually. I cleaned the floor pan, it's pretty clean. And the seam welds on the sills, they've been cleaned as well, so it's looking pretty good. You can't really see the front, obviously it's right up there. A similar story up front. The under tray's off at the minute as well, and I've cleaned that. So yeah, it's not looking too bad. Hopefully afterwards it will look nice and shiny. I'm going to clean the exhaust again as well while I'm underneath, but yeah, just a little before. So let's get this grease on, and then let's get the spray on the rear, and then we'll move on and do the front, and then that'll be it. So now it's just a case of spraying this on. I've already done a bit, as you can see, but very easy. Just got your trigger and literally just spray away. So we'll get the whole underside of this done, and then we'll have a look in a minute. Obviously it doesn't look as good as I'd hoped with this grease on. Maybe I wouldn't have been so brush happy with the grease, but the main thing is that it's protected, so I'm sure it will do that job well enough. So I'll get the whole thing done at the back here and then we'll have another look. So the back of the car is done. I wiped down some of the grease because I thought it was just a bit excessive, so I've wiped off some of the grease I put on the rear subframe. As you can see, it's well coated, looking pretty good. I've done all the floor pan, all the nooks and crannies at the back as far as I could get, up into these areas as well. As you can see up in there, I've done all these bits here. Just need to give the exhaust back box a quick polish, and then the rear is done. So yeah, gonna get the front up on the ramps and then just do the front components, and then we're finished. The car is up on the ramps at the front. By the way, these are 2-piece race ramps, really good. Although my car is still a little bit low for them, even though they're a low profile ramp. I've had to use some floorboards just to make sure the bumper clears as I'm coming up, but they're really handy. They're like a foam, like a high dense kind of foam inside that plastic. So really strong, really handy, and you can pull that bit away so you can get access to the side as well. I thought I'd just mention that because loads of people ask me questions about them. Anyway, so the front of the car, there's not much to do under the front because obviously you have an under tray which covers everything up. So I'm not going to do the sump and stuff because clearly there's no corrosion issues there with the sump. Probably will just do that boost pipe. Now I would like to get new hard pipe anyway at some point, but that's something for the future. So yeah, just be these lower arms, the anti-roll bar there, the subframe, which isn't too bad as it is. Yeah, and just trying to avoid the brakes as well. But like I say, there's not too much to do at the front here because the front under tray does protect most of it. So I'm not going to bother with that grease this time. I'm just going to spray the spray wax on, just on the areas that have got rust on them. So we'll get some stuff on there now, and then we'll have a look, and then that will be the whole underside of the car done. So let's make a start. The good thing is you've got quite a long hose with this, so you can easily get in there to all the hard to reach areas. Obviously trying to avoid the belts. You don't want to be spraying stuff on your cam belt and your alternator belt. So yeah, quite a nice coating. Not too thick though, you don't want to go too crazy. Yeah, just get up in those shock absorbers as well. Do a bit of the Revo knuckle. Yeah, just where you can really. And there we have it. All done. Looks much cleaner just because it blackens up any rusty areas. So yeah, very easy to apply. I mean, the hardest bit was the actual cleaning of the underside of the car. But by the way, I know my tyres are going bald on the inside. That's on the list for this winter. They're still legal though. But yeah, get the under tray back on and then off the ramps, and we're done. Oh guys, we are finished. The car is done. It's fully treated underneath. I'm aching all over now. It's been a pretty tough couple of days, but I'm glad I've got it done. It's a bit of peace of mind now. I can take the car out if I fancy, when it's a bit, you know, groggy out there, a bit salty, all that kind of thing. And I know the underside is protected. I've pretty much coated the whole underneath. The only things I didn't do were the arch liners. I would have ideally liked to have got the wheels off, got the arch liners out, given them a clean and treated them, but I will do that at a later date. Probably not going to use the car for a little while now. So yeah, that'll be another time, but I don't think I need to make a video on that. It's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, overall the process was very easy. The hardest thing was actually cleaning the car underneath. It's not a very nice job if you're on ramps on the floor. I had a creeper board, which made it a little bit easier, but you're still getting drips and stuff coming in your eyes, and you're trying to get in all the little nooks and crannies, and you have to kind of lay on your side and fit underneath tight. It's tight spaces. It's just quite demanding. So if you do want to do it and you can get access to a ramp where they don't mind you using a pressure washer inside, obviously you can mop it out afterwards, I'd recommend doing that. And then for the application itself, very easy, but again, if you have a lift and you've got access to one, then it's going to be much easier with a lift just to apply it. You literally stand up, just spray it all over, job done. Whereas on the creeper board, again, it was a little bit tight, but the application itself is very easy. And if your car isn't that bad underneath, just a quick pressure wash down, let it dry, and then you can spray the stuff on the next day and it'll be absolutely fine. But I just wanted to give mine a good clean underneath while I was there. Anyway, that's it. I hope you found it interesting. I recommend the product. Seems like a good product to use for a bit of protection, so why not? I will revisit the underneath of my car again, probably in a few months' time, just to see how it's faring. And that will be a bit of a fairer test as to what it's actually like long term. But yeah. Anyway, until the next video, guys, as always, take care. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you soon.